Testing 1, 2. Wow, it works there. Why ain't it work? There we go. Okay. How's everybody doing tonight? Michelle, Shanna, Big Bag Gamer, Sue, Pharaoh. Hey Dragon. Got some updates for y'all on Invest 92L, soon to be named after me. So let's get right to it. Switch screen. Go ahead and bring my cam up. If you noticed, I got my green screen today. So let's go ahead and just jump right into this thing. I'll get to that in a minute. I'm not sure just yet. It's a little early to tell if it's going to be a hurricane. By the way, for those watching, I am watching the chat both on YouTube and Twitch. So if somebody asks me the question on one and I answer it, the ones on the other are not going to know. So go ahead and jump right to the National Hurricane Center. I was going to stream earlier, but I was waiting for all the updates to get in. As you can see here, they jumped that up to 90%. And that's the 2-day forecast. My last broadcast was 80% over a 5-day. Now they left it at 90% chance in the next 48 hours. So you can kind of see it there. It's a real long, not elongated, but grabbed the wrong mouse. It's a really broad low pressure system at this point. I'll go ahead and bring up the satellite, and there she blows. I'll go ahead and play this, and you can see, the really broad spin. Hey Nola, got a really broad spin to it, but the center of it is over Gulf of Mexico, and there's 88 to 90 degree water temperatures right there, and you can see she's really blowing up a lot of thunderstorms in that. Switch over to the radar, and you can see some storms popping up all around. Go here, Tampa, down there. Hey, everybody else that's joining me. So it's already producing some thunderstorms. Let's go back to the screen. And the next thing I want to show you is the 5-day forecast. Okay, where did it go? And it's at 90% on the 5-day. But you can see the area of concern that red circle. Hey, Mond, that's the area that it will develop within the next 5 days. But now that it's actually, over the Gulf waters, I think she's going to try to tighten up pretty quick. Matter of fact, one model, Lordy, I just got an update. Kept to your Earth here. One of the models now yesterday and earlier today there was only red dots and green dots, the green being the GFS, and now they've added the looks like the HWFI, and they've actually showing this to be a Cat 1, this particular model. And they even have it as a possible Cat 2 at landfall. That's showing 85 knots. That wouldn't be Cat 2. I know you're going to hear a little crackling in my microphone. I've got a lot going on the PC right now. Turn off the infrared. That'll be a little bit better to. But you can see these blue dots are traveling all the way up into Oklahoma. Now that's only one model run, okay, or one particular model. The green dots here, those are GFS. And that's got it going into Louisiana as a tropical storm. And then going up into Mississippi. And then curling back over east of Little Rock as a depression. Now the red dots, those are some other models that are put together. And earlier, the red dots had it going in to Mobile, Alabama. And now it's shifted over. But as you can see, these three tracks are getting closer together. I'm not familiar with the HWFI model. That's the one that's got it as a Cat 1 there. And then a Cat 2 up here after it makes landfall. So things will change, by tomorrow morning. So we can go over to, like I told you before, I like using the Euro for tropical storms. And here is the latest Euro. And keep an eye on that red L down here. Okay? I'll go ahead and put it in motion. Hey, Bubba. Now right there is 997 on the millibars. So that's where it's going to start getting stronger, according to the Euro. And it looks like it's going to be making landfall on Saturday. Let's see. It's 12Z. 12Z on Saturday is where it's getting close to making landfall. And as you can see, it kind of goes up into Arkansas and then further up and starts curving east. Several of the models that I've looked at all day today has got this thing pretty much curving northeast after it makes landfall, which means it could possibly be a depression or just under by the time it gets to me here in Ohio. Now let's go ahead and look at the GFS. Now I'll go ahead and look at this continental U.S. first. And GFS has got it meandering around, but look how strong, 991 millibars. Now let me go ahead and go to regional, and we'll look down here in Gulf. And I'll go ahead and play it. Again, watch that red L. And it kind of meanders around. And then it gets strong. But look how strong that gets right before landfall. Now, one thing I'm noticing about the timing of this is it's going to be out over water. It's going to take its time, and kind of be a little slow before it curves and comes into Louisiana. That's kind of bad news. It gets a chance to get a lot stronger. You know, it's out over some really warm waters. Replay it here. Boom. And I'll zoom in on it. Now, it's still early yet, but if this thing takes its time going from the Panhandle over to Louisiana, it's going to get stronger because there's no wind shear to speak of. It's warm waters, so there's nothing to stop it or slow it down. So I think that's where the GFS is really picking up on it, getting stronger. Look at that right there when it gets ready to make landfall. But it's still early yet. That's 989 millibars. I don't think I've got that other model that GR Earth is showing. I'll have to check into that. Those blue dots that you see on GR Earth, that's the ones that's actually saying it could be a category 1 or 2 by the time it makes landfall. Now already, look at the borders all around Florida there. Those are rip current advisories. So they're already got a moderate risk rip current advisory out. And it's not even well formed yet. So as it gets closer, I'll be keeping an eye on these rip currents and other warnings along the beaches. and I'll be bringing that info to you. That page there is Nowcast, or Now Coast. Excuse me, Now Coast. But it's really broad circulation right now. The center is probably about right there. Let me put it in red. Whoops, not there. About right there. That's about where the center is. So it's definitely out over the Gulf of Mexico. I really thought, let's see, do you have a specific time of day that I'll be broadcasting? Okay. Not sure just yet, but I think so far there's a great possibility if this thing keeps getting stronger, we're going to have at least 2 chasers down there, Nathan and Jennifer McMahon. Now, as far as broadcasting after it gets close to landfall, it's just going to depend up on the timing of the storm. But from now on until Saturday, I'm going to try to do 2 broadcasts. One at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and that'd be my time, which is Eastern time. And the other one after 8, because that's when National Hurricane Center updates at 2 p.m. and 8 p.m. during the day. So that's going to be my schedule for the next few days. And I'll tell you something I learned tonight that I did not know. Huh. Leftover picture. That's weird. Anyway. One thing that I did learn today from Dr. Rick Nebb is these tropical storms, as they get stronger, now they're a low pressure system, okay? And they will actually build a high pressure up above them. And once they get strong enough, any wind shear that gets in the area, the high pressure up above will keep the shear away from it. It's sort of like putting a hat on. And that high pressure will keep the shear from taking the tops off. That's after they get stronger. That was something I did not know. Pretty cool fact. And the way the wind shear is looking, let me get that page up. Okay, here's the past 24 hours on the wind shear. Now I know it's hard to see, so let me get to the end of it. Zoom in. Okay, right here is Florida. That's Florida. The storm's going to be about right there right now. Very little shear at all in the upper level. It's real light, compared to all around the rest of it. So once it gets strong enough in this area, this little bit of light shear isn't going to bother it. It's not going to bother it at all because of that cap. FLS 3600. Hey, thanks for joining me. So we don't have to worry about any wind shear. And so definitely it's going to do something. Okay. But according to those models, it's going to land somewhere in Louisiana. Now, this particular model, which is the GFS, that's got it headed just a little west of Central. Actually, I'm beginning to think, and it's too early, but New Orleans is going to get nailed because they're going to be on the northeast quadrant. The northeast quadrant is always the strongest part of a tropical storm. And that's the reason why you see this. Oops. It did that. See how it's got yellows over on the east side? But the strongest part, let's pick another color. Let's try blue. The strongest part is this area here. That's the northeast quadrant. So that's where we want to be. That's the area that I'm really concerned. And this is the GFS. If this slightly moves more towards the east, New Orleans is going to get nailed. What did I say that was? HWFI. Let's check these. Oh, by golly, I don't have that model. Yeah, I do not have that model. But as we look at the euro, that does have that going right there in the New Orleans area. Oops, sorry. Yeah, I hope they are. Pit bulls and parolees. They're down there in New Orleans. Hey, Sean. Yeah, hopefully this time people will be more ready. Thanks for the new follow. Inspiral, thank you. So I'm going to try to definitely do after 2 o'clock tomorrow and again after 8 o'clock Eastern time. There's another update that comes out, but it's in middle of the night, and I'm not going to bother. Like 2 a.m. But they are expecting this thing to get strong enough to where it'll be at least a depression in the next 2 days, and it will get a name. Also, the hurricane hunters are most likely going to go out tomorrow. Hey, no problem, Nola. So once the National Hurricane Center in the morning, they'll look at the satellite views and determine if it's formed well enough. Then they'll send the hurricane hunters, and they're supposed to look at them. I'm not sure. It's either in the morning or about noon or something. I think it's the schedule for them guys. And once they get in there, they'll find exactly where the center of it is and get all kinds of information from the drop zones, temperature, pressure, winds, moisture. So once they do that, and that information goes directly back to the National Hurricane Center, and then the forecasters will get that information ready and put it out at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So anybody got any questions? Come back over here. That's the thunderstorms that it's producing already. It's too early to tell, Sean, but what I was showing a little bit ago here on GR Earth, excuse me, one of the models does have it as a Cat 1 and a Cat 2 as it makes landfall. No, the rip current warnings is the storm is actually. Let me show you something. Go back to satellite. Darn it, gotta get my satellite. Show you something on the satellite. I want you to know something about this. Get done loading up. I'll zoom in here. For one, you can see the circulation here. It's really broad. Okay, center's up here. But what it's doing, it's got some inflow flowing into it, coming in that way. Okay, with all that wind pushing into it, that's forcing the water against the Florida coast over here. So it's going to cause rip currents. The rip currents don't help with the forecasts, but with that wind flowing into it out of the west, then it's pushing the water up against the west coast of Florida. And so that's the reason why they already got all these rip current advisories all around the coast. Just moderate right now, but that's going to get updated tomorrow. Guaranteed. The rip currents will be worse, which makes it, really bad. Summertime, a lot of people want to get out on the beach, go out in the water, but it's not going to be safe. Hey, thanks for the new follow. East and West. Thank you. No, no, I really don't think so. Let me bring the model back up. Back up. Okay, this is Saturday. There's Sunday. There's Monday. It'll be, according to the Euro, it'll be in Arkansas on Monday. And then it's going to keep traveling. And it's going to weaken as it goes up. Right there, you can see that it's pretty well dissipated. And that's right there in Illinois on Wednesday. So you'll be in the clear. They'll be long gone in 2 weeks. Hey, no problem, Judge. That's why I'm doing this. Keep everybody informed. As it gets closer, I'm going to do some other stuff too, as far as safety tips, emergency kits, stuff like that. I'll probably start putting that together tomorrow to let everybody know, for anybody that's going to be down that way. But yeah, the one model, which I don't have, HWFI, does have it making at least a Cat 1 and making landfall a little bit further west. So all three of these models here on Geo Earth going, the red, the green, and the blue dots, they all got it, hitting Louisiana. Now, if you've been watching my last several broadcasts for the last few days about this thing, you notice that at first the red dots, they were more over around Texas, Louisiana, and the GFS, which was the green dots, was showing Galveston and Houston area. Now, before my first broadcast about this, I was already watching the models. And the day before, the GFS didn't show this thing at all. It didn't totally agree. But that's kind of normal for GFS. GFS is pretty slow about coming around and to agreeing and getting close to being right. That's the reason why I always go to the Euro first. But now you can see this combination of different models is already getting closer to agreement. And it's only Tuesday. So let me check something out. Now 12Z, that's going to be 8 o'clock Eastern time. Actually, from what I was looking at earlier, it looked like 18Z Zulu, which is 2 o'clock in the afternoon Eastern time. Oh, here's something else. Now this is the Saffir-Simpson scale for hurricane winds by category. Now you can see there at the bottom. Let me get my camera. Boom. Category 1, 74 to 95 mile per hour winds. Okay. Category 2, 96 to 110. Okay, Sean. Category 3, 111 to 129 miles per hour. Cat 4, 130 to 156. Cat 5 is 157 mile per hour or higher. So if it does come in as a Cat 1, that's going to be 74 to 95 miles per hour winds. And you can find this over on the NOAA website. But that's how they categorize Cat 1 to Cat 5. Anything below 74 mile per hour will just be a tropical storm. Any other questions? I got to get with Nathan. I know the other day he said like 75% chance he was going to go, and things wasn't even looking as good as they are now. So, well, thanks, man. So, really good chance if things keep getting even better, Nathan's definitely going to go down. When is the heart of the hurricane season? It actually started last month, and it goes till about November. So I think the peak is well, it depends on which part. I mean, this early part of the season is usually Gulf of Mexico storms. Then later on in the summer is your Atlantic Ocean. And also the Pacific is already started, East Pacific. Well, actually, this area of circulation started way up in the western northern plains. It actually started up. All the storms that me and Nathan have been working with for the past week, this is the remnants of those storms, of the upper level circulation that caused those storms all week. Like Colorado, Wyoming, north, south Dakotas, and Nebraska. All those storms this past week. So this came across and then went southeast and landed down there in Georgia. And this is the first one that I've worked on. Excuse me. That came from overland first. Got a tickle in my throat. Hey, thanks, one Adam. Appreciate it, bud. So most of the time, they're forming down in the Gulf, down in this area, where you can see there's nothing. But that's where they normally form. So it's really rare for it to start up around Wyoming, and then here's up here at Wyoming, and cause all the storms out here. Then it came over to about Illinois. Then it turned southeast and came down here to Georgia. So, and yeah, it's going to make a big circle. I mean, it's down here in the Gulf. It's going to go over to loop around to Louisiana, and then it's going to curve back to the northeast. Oh, sorry. Excuse me. Thanks for telling me. I've been up since early this morning, so we'll just show you this again. We'll go up here to Wyoming. That's Wyoming. And it came across, came over here to Illinois, then came down here to Georgia. And now it's down here, going to loop around, go into Louisiana. Depending on which model, it's going to either hit Arkansas or Mississippi and come back up towards Ohio. Or am I Willie Nelson? No. I'm just an old long-haired hippie. And I'll tell you one thing I'd really like to do. Once this thing gets said and done and over with, is go back and into the archives and show the whole track of this thing from the upper western plains all the way till it ends up in Indiana or Ohio. We don't talk politics. This is a weather channel. We don't do politics. So again, I'll show you the category. Saffir-Simpson scale. You want to take a screenshot for future reference. Or you can do a Google search for the Saffir-Simpson. Hey Nathan, cool. So I don't have to get a hold of you. It's looking a lot better, dude. 90% in the next 2 days. And this is the first time, Nathan, I've seen this other model run on GR Earth. Blue circles here. That's the HWFI. I'll have to look that up tonight. But it's showing it at Cat 1 right there, right before landfall. And then it's showing it as a Cat 2. For those of you over on my YouTube, Nathan, he's the boss man of Stormview Live. He's in my Twitch chat. I do believe I've covered just about everything. Hey Sharon. Again, as this thing gets closer, I'm also going to do safety information. Glad you joined me, Sharon. try to put together some other info to pass along. What day is landfall predicted? It's looking like sometime Saturday. Some of the models are saying more towards Sunday morning, but it looks like most of it so far it's going to be sometime Saturday afternoon. Hey, Force. How you doing, man? You can always go back in my videos and rewatch it. Yeah, this is really cool. Not sure how many I got over on YouTube. Loving my new green screen. Got in today. Thanks to donations, I was able to order it. Yeah, remember the old green screen I used to have? Yeah, that was actually a program. And it would get a little weird around the edges, and I start having ghost, images back behind me. That was a program, and that company went out of business, so I can't do it anymore. But this is a true green screen behind me. Yeah, the haunted green screen. That tried to, it did pretty good. It was only $15, and I bought it, oh man, over 2 years ago. Yeah, I got a pretty bright light right up here. It's an LED 100 watt. I got to get a couple more. Oh, you talking about that? That's the pop filter. I can take it off. The pop filter. Oh, right there. That's weird. Put a piece of tape over that. Oh, I think that's the logo right there. But it is kind of ghosting though, ghosting out a little bit. But as soon as I meet this goal that I got on the top, then I'm going to work on. Let me get rid of some of these screens. I want to order 2 new video cards. That's my future add-on. Yeah, the pop filter. Put that back. That helps out. But the 2 video cards that I need in the future, they're kind of expensive. They're about $300 a pop, and I need 2 of them. And but it's going to really help with the load on my main computer. That's a future project. I got to get other stuff paid for, some other stuff ordered, and pay the bills. So anyway, any more questions? Yeah, these video cards that I've got, I've had them for a few years. Thanks, Michelle. So anyway, if there's no more questions, I'm going to go ahead and call it and go outside and enjoy a little nice weather we got right now. So, like I said, I'm going to try to do it right after 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon Eastern Time, and again tomorrow night after 8 o'clock, after the National Hurricane Center does their updates. Okay, Sean. No, I haven't seen it pop up. It'll pop up on the screen. So anyway, until tomorrow, have a good evening. Thanks for joining me, everybody. I really appreciate it. And let's get some good information going on this thing. So until tomorrow, we'll catch you on the next broadcast. Good night, all.